Hey, what's up everybody? David from Babylon Sector back again with another gameplay tutorial of Shadowrun. I've now grinded out enough money to get some armor vests. So this is going to help us take damage because we're going to get hit when we start doing these ghoul runs. So as you can see, I've got 1105, and basically all I did was just do a bunch of courier missions. Took maybe 20 minutes. It wasn't too bad. It was a slightly cheaper one. It says fair weapon and good gun. This is fair weapon and great gun protection. This will last quite a while. So for the investment in the long term, it's definitely worth it. So we'll equip, and you can see what it's done to my attack and oh, actually no. There we go. You see attack and defense are looking stronger, and then armor jacket, obviously. The one I just bought is a significant upgrade over the armor vest, which we can also sell for a little bit of cash. Because we are down to 25. There we go. Back to 125. In the process of doing all these missions, I also grinded out 15 karma. So we'll take a break and rest and upgrade some stats. Now, if you remember all of those school quests that were offered, they were all for like 10 new yen per head or 15 new yen per head. I would say to make it worth my time, it's got to be 40, if not 50 or 60 per head. Unfortunately, to do that, we're going to have to increase the negotiation skill. And so the negotiation skill increases Shadowrun payments and influences buying and selling. This is a majorly important skill because not only is it going to get us more money for these runs, it's going to make this stuff way cheaper. One of the best guides for this game is on GameFAQs, and it was written like 17, 18 years ago, but it has some pretty interesting charts, and on there it actually has how much every item costs at that negotiation level that you're at. So and it's pretty startling how much cheaper some of this stuff gets as your negotiation skill gets higher. You know, the other thing to consider is, you know, obviously a character that had huge numbers in all of these is going to be really well rounded, but considering there are going to be some people we can hire, we can sort of start to specialize each character to get the maximum amount of effectiveness with the least amount of karma necessary. So for example, you know, for this guy, I might make him a really great combat guy and a great negotiation guy, but then I'll grab maybe a decker from somewhere. Don't worry about weapon skills with them. Don't worry about negotiation skills with them, but go straight electronics computer and make them the medic. And that way, you know, we're hitting all of these different strengths without having to sit here and try to grind out, you know, 1,000 karma to try to be the jack of all trades. So we're going to go ahead and upgrade negotiation. So we just upgraded it twice. Upgrade to 4, it's going to cost 8. We have 5. So I'm going to go ahead and do 3 more courier missions. Or if we do get a ghoul mission to do that. I'm kind of hoping we get jumped because after, you know, I cut it off the last video, I got jumped, and this pistol is just absolutely nasty. You can see there, I went across the screen really fast, but my payment just went up to 70, which is a pretty decent bit of an increase. We're going from Ares to Jackal's Lantern. There are a few things I want to show you, just to kind of show you the atmosphere, because I know we've been kind of zipping around and knocking stuff out. But here we go. Well, before we do that, let's see how much faster I am than earlier. Like, they can't even really catch up to me. Can you see? these guys. And I've barely even, I've increased... See, this is like no problem now. And I mean, really, I barely increased my attributes. I mean, I hit quickness a couple times and one increase in intelligence, which all affect combat speed, but... I mean... This guy's only going to get stronger as time goes along. There is a way you can buy an item from the Halloweeners that will reduce how often they attack you. It doesn't stop it all the time. I think it cuts it in about a third. But honestly, at this point, those guys are no threat. I'd have to basically walk away from the computer at this point to lose to a Halloweener gang member. Now, the ghouls are going to be a little different, and you'll see here in a little bit once we... Damn, another one. See, it's just making short work of those guys. That's why you gotta love the Predator pistol. It's worth the extra couple hundred new yen it takes. The ammo is pretty plentiful. Because you're going to find yourself getting a lot of ammo in this game. You have to constantly be making sure that you've got enough clips. And I know when I was a kid a long time ago, I used to like that max power pistol because of the brutal power, but just the economy of basically having double the amount of ammo capacity is just too much. It's too much to pass up for just a little bit extra power when I'm already just, you know, maybe an hour in of total gameplay and I'm already just smoking these guys. I mean, that's just not even fair. And you gotta consider earlier I was having trouble getting away from them and taking 4 or 5 hits to down one of those guys. And the further I go along, I mean, we'll get to a point where it's just one-shotting those bums. I do like to quick save every now and then just to make sure, you know, nothing crazy happens. Okay, so we have a gold quest, finally, and it's for 40, which I think is on the low end of what I'll take, but for now, we'll take it. And so what this is just sort of showing you the supernatural element to what's going on here. In several of these zones, there's abandoned buildings, and they're just crawling with ghouls. And they're mindless. They attack you with claws. They do drop money occasionally. But a quest like this is going to give us 40 per head. Now we have 9 clips, that's plenty. We got 7 loaded up already, so... You know. See, he drops a med kit, which is nice to have. Alright, so... Actually, we'll go back so we can read that flavor text. I have a tendency to kind of blow through this stuff. There's a lot more reading in this game than I think most Sega Genesis games had. It's nice. It sort of helps build the atmosphere, but you do sometimes have to stop and smell the roses, so to speak. So you enter an abandoned building. Ghouls tend to gather here, packs of them waiting for some fresh meat. Entering the foul place, you smell the stench of rotted flesh and hear the sound of movement. Now, this place is interesting because you kind of have to walk around until you feel that drag on your movement and you know that they've aggroed. So like right here, you can see... See, these guys are actually tougher than the Halloweeners who are taking, what, 2 hits to die. Let's see. So that's 3 down. It's 120. See, you have to at least make it worth the amount of clips that you're using. But, I mean... See, we can just kite these guys around because they have no guns and they're stupid and mindless and craving flesh, and they will not feed on me today. And you can see, looks like maybe some people at some point were sitting in the front of a fire pit. Some of these zones are actually pretty cool. There's a lot of atmosphere in these games, as you can kind of tell. I've already lost count, but I mean, I'm sure we've killed close to 10. The unfortunate part is, oh, see, and they got to me. Got a little cocky there, tried to stand in too long. So we'll go ahead and use my med kit. And my medical kit skill, which is biotech, is not very high, so, you know, I don't get full use out of each med kit, but that's really, I shouldn't be getting hit in the first place, so that was more me just being a little cocky. And I mean, so these things just kind of spawn at random, and what I try to do is just walk around. Like I said, when you feel the walking slow down, it's like because there is no music cue for combat, so it's a cue that you're about to engage into combat. So right there I kind of slowed down and packs the zombies. And I mean, I was probably playing this game at 10 years old. This is some pretty scary stuff, I thought, back then. You know, like this part really freaked me out. Playing in the middle of the night, lights off, shooting zombies in an abandoned building. I mean, it's pretty intense. And so really we can keep going really as long as, you know, get going as long as I feel like doing it. I feel like they are spawning quicker than normal, which is nice because it's just, I mean, you're just sitting in here farming these guys. Because what we'll need to probably do next is maybe hire a decker. And there's a couple out there. One guy's pretty cheap, but he's really pretty crappy as far as his skills go. And some of the other deckers are better, but also are super expensive. But let's check the clips, make sure we're not burnt. See, we've already burned through half our clips, so we'll keep going for a little while longer. We have 4 clips left now. These guys are also dropping money. So I mean, they dropped already 200 million or so. So it's definitely, you're not just getting the kills per head, but these zombies for whatever reason are walking around with money, which, you know, if they've killed somebody who, you know, a vagrant or something that's wandered into this abandoned building, yeah, maybe they're just carrying it around for no other reason. But you can see how much better I am just by getting that pistol and increasing quickness by 2 and intelligence by 1. And I mean, if we continue on, I mean, you know, I think pushing negotiation is probably going to be a good way to go. You do have this weird like meta category for weapons. So you have this overarching firearms category, and then you can kind of specialize underneath there. But really the main things for combat would be quickness, intelligence, willpower, which are a good thing to get maxed up quickly. Now this guy, he's a magic user. I mean, he's not going to be able to do a whole lot, but he's a little stronger. He can cast spells, so it's good to go ahead and knock him out first. It's also good when you have a big pack of guys going after you to just try to target the lead, the guy in the front, just to keep, because you do kind of stop a little bit when you shoot, and you want to make sure that you're hitting that guy in the front so he doesn't get a free shot at you by you know, breaking through. You can kind of catch them at choke points and just kind of feed them through. This is going to be a heck of a payday. I mean, let's just be honest. Alright, so I'm down to 2 clips. I definitely don't want to get caught in here without any ammo, so we can go ahead and leave. you know, one thing we can do, because 45 new yen ahead is not bad. So we can always get some more clips, head right back in, and continue on. And clips are 25 apiece. I don't think they're affected by negotiation prices, or by negotiation skill. But I try to keep maybe 10 at all times. Some enemies will drop clips, but they have to be enemies that obviously carry guns, so zombies are not going to be carrying clips. But I mean, just based on how much they've dropped, I mean, what they dropped just covered all the ammo. So now it's just making up for it with the amount of heads. And I mean, I gotta figure I've killed 30 of these guys at this point, so this is going to be a decent payday. But I really enjoy the kind of sandboxiness of the game. I mean, we haven't even really done any of the main quests besides get Michael's stuff. And, I've already got probably an hour in this playthrough. And I mean, I know I keep going back to it, but this was just such a fun game as a kid. It was, I played it first on the Sega channel, which was a really cool service that our cable company had back in the day, and you had access to like 100 games a month. And that's how I really learned a lot of these games. Cause my parents would have never bought. I had a few games, but like they bought the Sega channel, so they didn't have to go buy games, because they were kind of expensive. And this is the game that I really fixated on. And I still love it today. I mean, I play this game. I usually fire it up at least once a year, just on my own, not to mention just even for the blog purposes. But it's just a game that brings back a lot of fun memories. And again, for the time, there weren't games like this. And I mean, you can see, kind of based on, the gameplay, like tons of ARPGs I've borrowed from this game. Here's some sort of like crazy beast. So you can see how even games that are turn-based, like the original Fallout, Diablo, I mean, you can see where they kind of took some ideas from this game, because this is pretty revolutionary for the time. And although I'm quick saving through Steam and through the collection itself, this was one of the few games that had you can actually go in there and save your game. And it would save you can have 2 games saved at any given time, which, again, back in the day, that's pretty unheard of. I mean, a lot of games use like codes and things to save your progress, but I mean, this is, I don't know, really cool stuff. I actually do own this game on a cartridge. Unfortunately, the save game battery is dead, so I can't really fire it up on my actual Genesis, because that would be a heck of a lot of fun, but unfortunately, it's just not in the cards. I am using a gamepad though, just like a Logitech. It's a cheap Logitech gamepad. So it definitely makes this game a lot easier than trying to use, WASD and arrow keys and all that nonsense. It's just much more, much closer to the original way that the game is meant to be played. So man, we have killed a lot of zombies. So I'm just gonna keep going for a bit because I'm on a roll. And this payday is looking pretty sure right now. 380, and that's just from the drops. Got plenty of clips. See, I'm feeling it slow down for combat there. So here we go. It's like one by himself. Has no chance. But yeah, Predator heavy pistol. We can talk about that for a bit as we use it. So pistols are legal for the most part. I mean, there is like a shotgun pistol that's definitely illegal. You can attach silencers to pistols, which means when you go into buildings, particularly like higher level corporate offices or prisons or wherever you go, if you fire it inside, it won't set off a that guy got me a little bit. It won't set off any kind of alarms, which means you can have a brief shootout without the alarm going off. And as you can tell, those mages are definitely faster. Whoa. And there's honestly like, it sort of feels like when you would play Tecmo Bowl and you would like, you know, you could like run around for the whole quarter and just have guys chasing you and falling on their face. It's kind of what the movement here is like. I mean, it's totally gamey, but it's no different than kiting in any other game. Yeah, we're just wasting these guys, which is pretty awesome. 6 clips left, and they just keep on coming. We definitely want to target the mage. And the good thing is, when you hit them, they do like stop their charge. But if you miss them, you know, they can get that step on you, and it can be kind of rough. I'll probably use a med kit in a minute just to make sure I don't do anything stupid and wind up dying, because dying in this game is pretty easy. Like I've gotten pretty good at it, but there's definitely ways to get hurt, get killed, and you don't want to lose that 10% of your money when you go to the hospital. It's just not worth. Which again, quick save is definitely. Again, I'm not a huge save scummer. Like I play a lot of 4X games. That's really what I play most of. So I really loathe save scumming, but in this game there's several reasons why. We can go over some of them later because a lot of them involve the Matrix and potentially losing some really expensive equipment. But this game's just super easy to die. So let's check our clips. We got 4 left, so we're getting pretty close to maybe calling it a day. We ground out a lot more karma while in here, so we can look at, you know, heading back to Stoker's and taking a rest and maybe upgrading some stats. But yeah, so you can basically just kind of walk around this area for as long as you really want to and just farm the crap out of these guys. And I mean, to me, this is just the optimal way to advance. It isn't a super fast way to advance, but you know, if you're used to playing games like this where it's sandbox, you know, and you can just kind of go out and do whatever. I mean, grinding is just part of it. You know, I just like to get into the atmosphere. I've also started to read the books, which were published by FASA Corporation, which was the people who made the pen and paper game and who published this game. And I'm going to have a review of the books pretty soon as I start reading them. Interesting stuff. I mean, it kind of gives you a little more supplemental information on the realm, but it's pretty cool. I mean, it's not high literature, but it's, you know, definitely an important part of the genre overall. It's definitely helping me learn a lot more, because I've never really played the pen and paper. I mean, I've thumbed through the, you know, supplemental books at the bookstore in the past, but I've never. I mean, I don't even know anybody who plays this game. I've never known anybody who plays this game. Whoa. So. Okay, so I've got to be getting pretty low on clips. so we'll go ahead and head out. But yeah, no, I don't really know a ton of people who have really even ever played this game. I mean, none of my friends as a kid really played it. They were more into sports games, which is understandable. I am in bad shape. There we go. Whew. That could have been dicey there with no clips and almost dead. So we'll go ahead and take a rest. So you can see the health bar replenished itself. I got 14 karma, which is awesome. So now it's just a decision on whether or not, I kind of want to do more negotiation to help keep these prices up. I think I will go ahead and do it. It costs 8, which is kind of a lot, but honestly, it's just worth it. I mean, the more you can get paid and the less you have to spend, I mean, it's definitely a win-win. We have 6. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and do 6 more quickness, and that's actually at the maximum level, so that's pretty awesome. You can supplement those things by cyberware, which is this building over here, which is called Little Chiba. Can kind of give you some cyberware stuff, and you can see data jack, which helps you sort of get into the matrix. Cyber eyes, kind of expensive obviously, but something we can look at later down the road. And you can see the essence and the essence cost, and what that is in the lore everyone has some sort of magical attunement, but the moment you start to add cybernetic, like the moment you add your first cybernetic enhancement, you lose the ability to do magic. And unfortunately for this character, because I have the hand raisers, I can no longer do magic, and that's just the way this is defaulted. But you can see smart links, so like it would interface with a smart gun, which we don't have, but it would increase accuracy. Muscle replacements actually adds strength and quickness, which is really nice. Mainly for the quickness, but you could theoretically, get you some spurs, and these things also stack, so you can have, multiple muscle replacements stacked on top of each other, so you can create just a, hulking rampager. And then dermal plating is just more like, just the ability to hang in on fights and fight longer, and then wired reflexes, and you can see the essence cost and the price there. It's pretty intense, but your guy can get really, really fast. So before we forget, let's get some more clips, which again is why I like the Predator heavy pistol, because if we had the other one, which is a good gun, I mean, if you look at it, the Warhawk, I mean, I used to love the Warhawk as a kid. Also, you can see that the price has gone down from earlier because of the negotiation skill, but I mean, this is a pretty awesome gun, and we can get it too at some point. I don't want to buy it now and just use it as sort of like a, if I really need to just take out a bunch of dudes super quick, that might be a good idea. And I'm just gonna load up. Okay, so I've gotten the maximum number of clips, which I think is 20. Yeah, so we'll be good on clips for a while. And we haven't even turned in the goal mission, so we're down to 105, but we killed a lot of them in there, so I bet you this payday is gonna be, it should be well over 1,000, I would imagine. And once we've talked to Gunderson, it'll pay us. And honestly, at this point, it's all about ghoul quests. So Alright, 905, so I got about 800 for that roughly. Pretty good. Would have been nicer if it was, you know, 65, 70 ahead, which is why I said that I wouldn't really take anything less than 40 ahead for the Ghouls. Okay, I'm taking this quest just because it's from the jump house to the Jackal's Lantern, which is the easiest run in the game, because it's literally walking this guy from here next door. I guess this neighborhood is that bad, where you have to have protection to walk, you know, 20 feet. So that's a nice, easy way to game. A little quick money out of the system. But you can see the payments overall with the investment and negotiation skill have gone up. But really, I'm just going to keep denying these until I get a decent ghoul, or again, something super close that it's an easy little bit of money to make. Ghouls at 40 again. I feel like we killed a lot of ghouls last time and didn't even get as much as I thought I'd get, so here we go. Alright, so he offered 10, but see, my negotiation skill popped it up to 60. So yeah, we're absolutely going to take this. But yeah, just killing ghouls. That's the name of the game. This is sort of early, I would say, if we were going to use like chess terms, this is like the early game still. But again, it's just setting ourselves up to make more and more money. So I guess the plan from here is going to be to either hire a decker or to get a data jack and turn this character into a competent decker. Unfortunately, whoa, okay, so here's a couple of supernatural beasts. They're not super difficult to beat. I'm not entirely sure if they count as ghouls or not, though. I don't know if they or the mages count. But I guess I could just go turn this in and see, but I definitely don't want to do that because 60 ahead on ghouls is pretty solid. But yeah, you'll get used to seeing this room a lot. But again, this is a good way to get a few quick $1,000 to get a decker and start to do some matrix runs, because matrix runs are the easiest way to make money in this game, but you have to have the initial investment of either a decker or getting your own deck. Because I did get that small cyber deck from Michael's stuff, but it's so weak and I don't even have a data jack. It's good for, you know, you can kind of get some basics in cyber combat down, but there's no way to really make it viable long term, so that investment has to be made. I guess you could theoretically play through the game and just be a bruiser and not worry about the matrix much at all and just sort of follow the main storyline. But like I said, I feel like building these characters up is a lot more fun than just blowing through the story. It's the same way in a lot of other action RPGs like Morrowind. I mean, I don't think I've ever even beaten Morrowind, but I've played that game 1,000 hours just wandering around. You know, just wandering into caves, just wrecking people, getting loot, just having fun. I do wish this game had a little more exploration. I mean, the map is pretty static. But again, this game is doing so much cool stuff, it's hard to fault it too much. And you get karma for turning in these ghoul quests, but you also get karma for everyone killed. And I'm not, to be honest, I'm not entirely sure how that's calculated. But the longer you stay in here, just the more it's going to be worth. That's super easy. So it's $60 a head versus 40. I mean, you can do the math. Just, you know, 50% more each guy are killing, so it's definitely worth it to stay in here a little bit longer. See, the karma was at 3 a second ago, still at 3. The downside to this is you don't gain karma as fast as you would just blitzing out those courier runs, but it's just more interesting, man. I mean, those courier runs are pretty boring. This is, at least there's some action here. And like, what the heck is that? It almost looks like a footprint of some sort. Pretty scary. Oh, some more monsters. So we'll keep just hunting these guys down. But you can remember where we were earlier with my attack and defense, which you can see. I mean, this guy's way stronger now. And it's just going to get even stronger. There are, like I said, there are submachine guns and shotguns. And shotguns are actually, pound for pound, probably the best item in the game. I like submachine guns, but they do tend to eat up a lot of ammo, which is irritating. Because ammo management is a bit of a challenge in this game. Not too bad, but you can definitely burn through a lot more clips than you realize. I mean, we started this with 20. We've already burned through 5 clips, so it's definitely... You know, because it's about 2 per guy, so 1 clip for every 6 guys roughly. So for every 6 guys you're killing, you're paying 25 new yen. So you have to kind of think of those as like the opportunity costs, which are not significant, but it's definitely something. Or when you miss like that, it hurts your ratio even more. But you can definitely tell that this game was influenced by stuff like Neuromancer, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, you know, Blade Runner, which again was influenced by androids. So it's definitely got that tone. Super dark, dystopian sort of atmosphere. I do really like the fact though that there's like that magical element to it. It's just it's such a weird combination, and it should not work. But like if you've ever seen the movie Bright, which was surprisingly good, and it was sort of like Training Day. Like an elf punk training day. But this, when I watched Bright, I immediately thought of this game because it was very similar. Sort of a crime-ridden dystopia with orcs and other magical beings. Your typical fantasy races. And as they say, slot up frag face. See if our karma's gone up any. Yeah, see, our karma's gone up 2. I mean, obviously we'll get a little more when we turn it in. Looking at the stats, I mean, quickness is maxed, but things like intelligence or something that would be good to maybe start increasing. Same with firearms. Negotiation still is one that it's hard. I'll be hard pressed to just continue to overlook it. Just increasing it by a couple of levels has made a massive difference in how much we're getting paid. So it's definitely, again, worth the investment. If we hire somebody else in a situation like this, they'll actually be in here with us. And you can actually toggle it to where you control them and the computer controls Joshua, or vice versa. They do have a tendency to kind of maybe wander off and get themselves into trouble. So having extra med kits on hand is super important. They'll also split some of the money with you from these rewards, but you can also kind of clear some of these dudes out pretty quickly. Let's check on clips. We burned through 8 clips already, which is kind of a lot. But they've also dropped 300. So they've dropped pretty much twice as much as I've spent in the clips so far, so it's already paid for itself. And we just keep walking around. And I think my idea about walking around is if you take certain rooms out of your line of sight, that's when things start to spawn. So yeah, I'm just trying to wait around till stuff starts spawning. Look at that. Nice 4 or 5 guys right there. And sometimes it'll hit the one you're targeting. Other times, if you could theoretically miss and hit another guy, or you know, if you're targeting somebody in the back of a group of people and you just fire into the group, it's more likely to hit the guy in the front. But you really want to key in at that guy on the front. That way the one who's closest to you takes that, you know, kind of staggers back when you hit them, and you can just continue to keep room in between you and them. I kind of tempted to try a run with a Wolverine type character, but seems like that might be a bit of a challenge. And also a magic user. I mean, I've tried the Shaman before. It's just tough. It's tough in this situation because your mana runs low, and honestly your initial magic spells are weak and expensive, and this gun is not terribly expensive, and it's certainly not weak. Let's see if our karma is now at the 6. 1230, so we're actually not doing too bad. Clips are probably at maybe 10, yeah. So I might burn maybe another 5 clips. Got some more. These dudes. These guys are so annoying. They seem to have a little bit better ability to evade gunfire. But these zombies are just flat out mindless. They are a little bit faster. I mean, they're not like, I'm not really a big zombie guy, but you know, some of the movies you watch, they're super fast. Like the Resident Evil type zombies. They're not that fast, but they're definitely not Romero zombies either, so, you know. That's my line of thinking is, you get your quickness up. Be the quickest guy on the map. You have a firearm. They don't. And then it's just a matter of kiting them around. think I'm going to need 10 karma for the next negotiation increase, which is kind of a lot. But I would definitely like to start pumping that up. The music in this game is really cool. I like it. It's definitely atmospheric. It's very appropriate. It's a little techno-y. This song here sort of reminds me of Escape from New York music, which is also very much sort of in line with the genre. Maybe not so much in concept, but in just in feel and atmosphere and things like that. Oh! 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 Yeah, it's just a lot of dead zombies and a lot of money. So let's see. I would like to hang around here a little bit longer because 60 a pop is really pretty good. I mean, you'll occasionally be able to get Gunderson to give you some better prices than that, but they're not usually going to be significantly higher. I mean, I think 70 or 75 a pop might be about as high as he'll go. I've never really pushed my negotiation to the max, so it's possible that he could get it even higher than that. I just don't. I've never seen it personally. Let's see. Karma's at 7. That's not bad. We'll get 1 for turning this in. It's just one of those things where you really don't want to give up a 60 ahead quest because you get tired of doing it. Because I tell you, I'll get tired of doing courier missions in about 2 minutes after starting, and I wish I was back in here just farming zombies. Alright, I guess we'll leave. Doesn't look like there's any spawning right now. Between what we got, I think we were at 9 something, so they dropped about 300, which is pretty good. And we'll get paid for any, the amount of heads we bring back, which is going to be a lot. Here's some Halloweeners. So if you remember earlier how much I was struggling with them, boom, done. Just wasting that dude. Okay, let's see. So yeah, see, so we just made between the drops and the actual reward 1,500 new yen. I mean, that's pretty solid. 8 karma. I think we'll take a break here, and then just one thing I want to do before I end this video. I want to kind of go through and show you where to get some of these other Shadowrunners. So the first one that you can get is actually here from the beginning. His name is Ricky, and he is a rat shaman. He's a dwarf. This is the cheapest guy to get. He's also super crappy. Sometimes I'll get him just because he's super cheap and he's just a good beat shield. He can cast some support spells, but just investing in his spells for long term. There's better mages out there. There's a couple of shaman, and then there's a couple of straight mages, and the mages are a little bit stronger. But we can talk to him. So again, you can ask him for his story. So he says, "Oh, I've lived my life in Glow City. I was slumming in the sewers, but it got me nowhere because I had no purpose, and because everyone was larger than me. Then I heard my totem calling. I have embraced the power of the rat. Rat has shown that force is not the only way to succeed. When I find some companions to work with, I'll be able to use my talents to finally get out of this dump. So clearly, he's turned to magic to sort of supplement the fact that he's a dwarf and probably isn't physically able to compete with some of these badasses out here on the street. So we can learn a little bit of, and this is what I like about this game, is there's a lot of background. So you can kind of get, by just talking to people, you can kind of get a feel for what's going on. So he says, shaman get their power from nature. We use her forces to achieve our ends. This is the superior to mages who do the spirits to do their bidding. Which I would highly disagree with it. The shamans being superior to the mages. He shows you his rat totem, a dingy block of wood. Each shaman has a totem that seeks him out. This animal represents an animal from nature. Rat chose me to follow his ways. If you remember from the opening sequence where we chose the character, one of the choices was a gator shaman. So I guess there's different animals. There's also you can pick up somebody who's a bear shaman, and there may be one other. I can't really remember. Rat wants me to protect myself by looking for opportunities to use guile and misdirection in lieu of combat. Rat bestows benefits by means of this totem. So, interesting guy. I mean, I'm definitely not too interested in getting him. He can tell you a few things. We can see if he wants to join us. He's 1550 to be a permanent member, and he's 155 for a single run. Definitely not somebody I really want to grab right now, but he's an option. So one thing we haven't done yet is going to another place. So these like little screens that are in the wall, like vid phone type screens. There's a few of them in each area. You can do a couple of things. You can call the taxi, which can then take you sort of to any of the other districts. You can do a vid phone, which we don't have any contacts yet because I haven't paid anybody to get any, and cyberspace, which again I don't have a jack. Taking the taxi does cost money, which means that in a couple other areas there are courier missions that require you to go from one place to another, so you're kind of paying. It's like you're paying to make money later down the road. There's a way around it, and we'll look at it later. You can actually pay the people who are running the taxi services to a lump sum, and you can get free rides forever. But this is Renraku Arcology. And Arcology, for anybody who doesn't know, is basically a large city that's sort of built inside a dome or a pyramid or something like that. One real world example of something that was supposed to be an arcology is like Disney World. Theoretically, Epcot Center was supposed to be a place that could be self-sufficient, and people initially were designed to live inside the dome. It was popularized by a Larry Niven and Jerry Pournelle novel called Oath of Fealty, which is something I do plan on reviewing at some point, but it's about a little bit of class warfare. It's very anarcho-capitalistic in a way. Let's stop and look at this. A haggard man collapses at your feet. His skin is pale and cool to the touch. A well-dressed man runs up, followed by two ordinary thugs. I'm a doctor, and this patient has escaped. Help us capture him, and I'll pay you. So, again, you got an option here. Attack, leave him alone, or you'll be sorry, and help them. Again, being confrontational in this game is typically not the best idea because people can be cops, and if the cops attack you, they're super strong and they will kill you. So I typically never choose attack. I'm gonna help them just because it's a guaranteed 50 new yen. I don't think I've ever seen it different, and it's a scummy thing to do. I mean, the guy probably wasn't doing anything wrong, but you know, ass on the line. But anyway, just Oath of Fealty is sort of one of the first novels that talks about the concept of an arcology, but it's basically a city within a city, totally self-sufficient. You know, people can live or die, live their whole life and die, work, marry, have children, all within the arcology and never leave it. In this context, it's typically, oh, we got some kind of magic user. Whoa. And I died because I wasn't paying attention. So, I lost a little bit of money, not too much. But that can happen when you're not paying attention to what you're doing. Wow, that was startling. But a lot of these arcologies are corporate owned, so you work for a corporation your whole life, you know, and then you live, die a company man, and they take care of you, they track you, etc. So this is another bar. It's called the Frag Grenade, and this has another guy in here. It's 25 to get in, whatever, not a huge deal. This guy here, Wired. This guy's an elf. He's a decker, as you can kind of look at him and tell. The trench coat, the fedora, the keyboard. This guy's just ready to hack some shit. So we can see how much he costs. He's 5,700, which is kind of a lot. Now he's really good. He's better than the dwarf that's in one of the other areas, but 5,700's a little outside of my price range right now. So we won't do that, but we will get some information from him if he has any. What's your story? He calls himself Phantom, which is a super hackery name. Yeah, he's got a backstory. Looks like this guy was a corporate lackey, got fired, and I guess just decided he was going to be a hacker. And so this is what I was referring to, the change. They call it goblinization, but looks like goblinization also affects people turning into elves. Which, you know, probably better than turning into an orc or a troll or a dwarf. So he can answer some questions about getting cybernetic equipment. These guys can all kind of lead you in the right direction. But 5,500 is a little bit cheap. I'm sorry, a little bit expensive. So we won't be doing that now. But he's definitely one to keep in mind. The cool thing about this zone is that you can actually walk from this zone to downtown Seattle. And again, we got another capture him. We'll help them out, get some money, easy money. So this is downtown Seattle. Here's another bar. We can see. So yeah, this is the place where the highest level Mr. Johnson's at, but I don't have enough reputation to even get into this bar, so that bouncer basically told me to slot off. There is another bar here. It's called the Matchstick. 150 to go in, and you can see slot off frag face, which is what I chose because, you know, that's a rip off. So we'll continue on. You can continue on. This is more of the, again, more of just sort of inner Seattle. This is another random event. Impressive figures pass through the parting crowd. Your first impression is that they are veteran Shadowrunners. Then you see they're wearing gang colors. But they're not acting like gangers. And there's usually a lot of random events like that. Here's another bar. And again, I just don't have the reputation to go in yet, which is unfortunate. I haven't actually spent a ton of time in this zone. Here's a motel, so that's nice if we needed to take a load off there. Man, those guys are brutal. Down to 1900s. We're giving up too much stuff, so I just want to pop over and show a couple more things, and then we'll head back and do some more zombie quests. The Pile Up Barons, Peel Up, I don't really know how you pronounce it. Really crappy part of town. But at this club there's another Decker. He's pretty crappy. Looks pretty cool. You can see he's got the cybernetic implant in his head. Got some super 1980s shoulder pads going on. See, he's 2850, which is, you know, half as much as the other guy, but pretty crummy. A lot of times I will pick him though and just level his computer skill up. I think he starts with computer skill 2, which is probably about what I have. No, I guess I have none, but still, computer skill 2 for a professional hacker is pretty bad. I mean, that would be like my mom being a hacker. It just wouldn't really do a whole lot of good. Alright, well, we'll end this video here. There's no reason to watch me do more zombie quests. I will maybe do a quick upgrade just to see what statistics I can make better. So intelligence, go ahead and make that up to 4. We only have 4 karma. Yeah, you know, we'll do charisma. That'll decrease the hiring price of Shadowrunners, and we'll still have 2 karma banked. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. This video kind of was designed to show you how to make some quick money, farm some zombies. Got killed a couple times, which is super annoying, but it just shows you how easy it is to die in this game. So I'm gonna go grind a few more zombies, try to get enough money to maybe hire Phantom, and then we can start looking at doing some Matrix runs. So hope you enjoyed the video. Hit like if you like, hit subscribe for more content, and yeah, have a great day guys. See ya.